Steve Alcorn's a fine investigator. What he's doing with this Chris dude, I have no idea.
I gave her cigarettes for our anniversary one year.
There you go. That's fucking romantic.
She didn't like gifts. I said, well, I want to get you something. What do you want? Just give me a couple packs of cigarettes. So I wrapped them up and gave them to her.
Yeah, have some lung cancer.
You got a dead Bigfoot that's just been shot, hanging upside down in a tree. Though Meldrum was also careful to note, it's not a course about Bigfoot.
It's a course about Fozzie Bear. Who's Fozzie Bear? Some say his father was half grizzly. Nobody believed he was real. As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a Muppet. To me, that was better than being president of the United States.
They upped my meds last night, so anything's possible. We're laughing at a story about dead people. I can't explain it, but it sure makes me feel like the spirits are happy.
I mean, I guess you could say it might have been somebody's hand moving real quick, but it's not a fucking ghost.
The jury's still out on that.
See, your hoaxes come at you with smiles. They come as your friends.
Pope Francis says doggy heaven is real, so your dog has a soul.
Ah, so now the dogs can hang out with the pedophiles.
Not Benedict, Francis, Pope Francis.
No, I'm just guilt by association, Steve.
Yeah, that's probably true. That's what they say when they talk about me and you.
Yeah, there you go. Good evening from the sunny, now fireworks-filled state of Maine on this happy fucking Easter. For some reason, I guess my next-door neighbor decided it was a good idea to light off fucking fireworks for the holiday of Easter. This is episode 71 of the Fortean Slip. The L. Ron Hubbard went to the cupboard to get the IRS a church episode.
Ah, that was great.
Joining us this
never
evening, live via satellite from the great state. Well, all right, wait a minute. Let me rephrase that. From the state of Oklahoma, Mr. Matt Knapp. Special guest. Wait a minute. I have to do the extravaganza.
What am I doing here?
Being an ass.
This was a mistake.
It was a mistake. It's always a mistake. It's a mistake.
Hey, we don't got fireworks going off in my state there, Chris.
Yeah, I this afternoon I thought all of a sudden there were gunshots. No, it's the next door neighbor, lighting off fucking whatever. My dog's paranoid of fireworks, so he shakes like a little fucking asshole. And that's great. That's always fun.
It's got to be those like years leftover fireworks.
No, they legalized them here in Maine a couple of years ago, so they went crazy. There's stores everywhere. There's literally a store right up the street. So,
currently selling fireworks.
Who the fuck
Year round.
sets off fireworks on Easter?
Year round, my friend. Year round. You can go out, buy fireworks, touch them off, as long as you are in an area that allows that you can do that, and you do it before the scheduled curfew on the use of fireworks.
Sounds like an awful lot of work to shoot off some fireworks.
I don't fucking know.
In Pennsylvania, they call the police if you have a frickin' sparkler, pretty much.
Well, they should.
Yes. You're not allowed to have anything here.
People in Pennsylvania should not be allowed to have sharp objects.
I'm moving to
I've decided, Matt, since you've come back live via satellite, that Steve's state is the X-Files state. More weird shit happens in Pennsylvania, at least in my experience doing this show. I think we've done more fucking weird news stories from Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania and New Jersey.
Yeah,
Like, New Jersey has a lot of weird shit. But yeah, Pennsylvania's up there.
Well, Pennsylvania
Well, they
just
have
has a
me.
lot of, like, you know, people being assholes.
Yeah, the Spam Wrangler. Home of the Spam Wrangler,
I
Pennsylvania.
love spam.
I told him he was like fucking Fox Mulder with a cowboy hat. But anyway, so I recently saw that the HBO documentary had come out, Going Clear, and I'd never read the book, although I had heard the big fanfare and pomp and circumstance when that had come out, and the big stir that had caused. And I never really looked into it. I mean, I knew Scientology was this weird fucking religion, I guess, quasi thing. I remember when I was young, my mom's husband reading Dianetics. And I was like, what's that? And that was my complete interest right there.
By the way, Chris, I have a copy of Dianetics on reserve, audiobook style, at the local library, but I'm third in line for it, so I have to wait.
You're gonna try to become clear?
Well, I just want a better understanding, and I think once I read the,
we've lost Steve. Matt, I hope you're like regularly available, because I think Steve is gonna get taken away.
He's
Well,
a
listen.
goner. I just can't believe there's a waiting list for the
Well, I don't know. I don't know if it's because the documentary just came out, or if it's just normally there is a waiting list for that one.
I know here in Oklahoma, a lot of people didn't watch the documentary once they found out it wasn't actually called Pissing Clear. Bada bing, folks.
I have a few L. Ron Hubbard fiction novels, and I've read a couple of his fiction novels. And whoa, it's fucking breaking news. What's happening?
This just in. L. Ron Hubbard wrote nothing but fiction.
My daughter or my son texts me that they're celebrating Easter next.
Are you fucking kidding me?
No.
Can I explain to you the irony of that whole statement?
He was just entirely too busy to celebrate it today.
Oh, yeah.
You don't. That's so. In other words, he's not celebrating Easter. He's just gonna like boil some eggs next week.
It's my older son. He has issues, so yes, probably. I don't know.
I mean, I guess you can technically hide eggs in your yard any day you want to out of the year.
Yeah, why should you reserve that for, one day of the year?
Hey, listen, if you're L. Ron Hubbard, you can do whatever the fuck you want. Let me tell you.
Growing up, I know this is not an Easter show, this is a Scientology show, but I have
It's on
a little
Easter.
quick Easter story. Right. Growing up, my stepdad was really big on hiding those stupid plastic eggs. And now I live in my mom's house now, where we used to do these Easter egg hunts. And I still find those motherfuckers laying around the yard sometimes. That's how many we never did find. But
There's like a false board on the fireplace mantle. Like he went above and beyond.
Yes.
Steve collects them
Like
all.
occasionally dig them up in the backyard.
He treasures them.
Speaking of the, being the Dianetics being on back order at the library, audiobook version, by the way.
As read by Leonard Nimoy.
That would be cool. I recently went to the thrift store and picked up a 50-cent copy of the Book of Mormon, and I'll be reading that as well.
You paid about 49 cents too much.
Wow, you are like going through the con man rigmarole.
Well, no, if we're gonna do a serious show, well, never mind.
Hey! We all watched the fucking documentary. We've all seen Going Clear. So as far as that is concerned, we're knowledgeable. I mean, what are you gonna do? Read
Knowledgeable
Dianet?
about
Are we gonna do an update in a couple of weeks after you've read Dianetics and you're all in, and and you're like, Chris, you're a suppressive person. I have to leave the show.
I have to disconnect.
Next on Steve's reading list is like Benny Hinn's How to Be a Faith Healer.
Actually, now that you bring that up,
Voodoo Magic 101.
I'm ashamed, and I'm sure Chris probably doesn't even know who Benny Hinn is, but growing up in a Pentecostal church, I knew who Benny Hinn was. And my mom she was a big fan of Benny Hinn for a long time because you could see him on TBN, you know. And she had gotten this prophecy that he did, and it was stored in like the cedar chest that we have. And I found it a couple of years ago, and I'm reading it. And in his prophecy, he was saying all sorts of things about gay people and shit like that.
Was he the one that talked in tongues?
They all do.
He's like a Middle Eastern looking dude that like lays the smackdown on believers.
Oh, if you've never seen Benny Hinn, I'm sure he's on YouTube. You got to look it up. Chris.
Oh yeah, he's on YouTube.
I'll have to check it out.
Anyway, so his prophecy was like, by the year 2000, gay people will be gone from the earth, and it was, oh my God, it was horrible.
Wow, was he wrong?
Yeah, he was kind of wrong.
What?
But if you ever get a chance, to any of our listeners, yes, look up Benny Hinn if you're not familiar. Not Benny Hill. That's a total different character.
People are going to be like, what the fuck is this?
Anyway, Dianetics, L. Ron Hubbard, Scientology.
Yeah, so watch the documentary. I immediately had messaged Matt, like, I think right after. I was like, listen, if you do one thing this week, watch this fucking thing. I think I hounded him for a good hour.
Yeah. Like, don't do any work. Don't celebrate Easter.
Just fucking watch this fucking thing.
Which, if you hadn't told me what it was, like, if I just walked in a room and this was, like, playing on the television, I would have thought it was, like, the new employee video for IHOP in Las Vegas or something. Like, it had that sort of feel to it. Like, don't freak out if you see Tom Cruise come in. You know, like, welcome to the team. They all had, like, those crazy, like, the Love Boat uniforms on.
Oh, God. With their hats.
Quick way to spot a cult. If they're dressed in Love Boat uniforms,
yeah,
you probably want to go the other direction.
If you have to salute a picture of L. Ron Hubbard and call him L. Rach, you might be in a fucking cult.
What was? I'm sorry, but I just have to put this. How did anybody fall for that?
They did. Okay, so anyway, get back on track. So I messaged Matt, get Matt to watch this fucking thing. I halfway through the documentary, because I had said to Matt, I said, please, like, seriously, watch this thing so that I can, see in text form the blank look on your fucking face as you're watching this. And his response to me after half of the documentary was, I've been watching this documentary and I'm about halfway through, and for the past 10 minutes or so I've just been trying to think of what to fucking say. So then I hounded Steve, because I had wanted Steve to also watch the documentary so he would be prepared for the show. As it happens, Matt was able to do the show this week. But so I said something to Steve, and it was great because Marsha was in the background, and she says, do we have to watch another movie?
Yeah, she's not usually a big fan of the your choices. Let's just put it that way.
But this one she loved.
I think not, but I don't think she hated it. It was a good understanding. Like I told you earlier, Chris, I think I got a good understanding of the basis of what's going on there, but it was long. It was a very long film.
Yeah, it's about a 2-hour documentary.
Yeah, it kept me riveted the whole time. trying to understand. Well, I'll just say it. What the fuck? You know. So.
All right. If
I kept
anybody
thinking,
doesn't
oh, this is
know,
gonna
if
be
anybody
close to the
doesn't
end.
know the backstory of Scientology, there's this guy, L. Ron Hubbard. He was a pulp fiction writer, and he's probably, according to the documentary, like one of the most published authors of our time. Like he has over 1,000 books to his name, and I think that's what they had stated in the documentary.
Well, they said that he was in the Guinness Book of World Records for writing the most books.
And I
think
think
he had been published the most.
Right.
Like he was writing those, pulp fiction like articles and stuff for magazines and books and
so he was writing all of these science fiction stories. When I was younger, I had read, I think it was called Mission Earth. And I was it's really weird. I remember when I was reading it, I was like, this is really strange because it delves into all this psychology shit. And I was like, wow, like the aliens look at like Bugs Bunny like it's a psychology thing. And I was like, oh, okay. So, but it delves like way into that. So I was like, wow, that's kind of weird. But anyway, so he wrote all of this stuff, and then he didn't want to pay taxes, so he decided to create a quasi-religion, I guess, based on, I don't even know what the fuck it's based on. I really don't.
A lot of it, from the way I understood, was bits and pieces of his previous stories. And he just kind of threw them all together and mixed it with this other shit.
Well, what he did was he created this fucking e-meter. And he basically took confession and made it the heart of his religion. So using an e-meter, you talk about past experiences and you let go of past experiences, and by doing so, you become clear. You get these thetans out of your body, which are bad memories or engrams or
aliens.
And
they're the souls of dead aliens.
That's what it is.
And well, you find that out later. And then the guy that does this is called an auditor, and he has to write everything down that you tell him, because they use it later on to blackmail you. And and then you get into this cult, religion, and you get offered to go into this program called the Sea Org, and that means you're dedicated, you're in, you're woo gung ho, fucking double barrel salute to fucking L. Ron Hubbard, okay?
And it means L. Ron Hubbard has to escape prosecution.
And they pay you, 40 cents an hour to be in this. Like I said,
it's a welcome to IHOP,
fucking
like new employee video.
So L. Ron Hubbard creates this fucking thing, and he has to do it on a ship, because at this point he's wanted pretty much everywhere for taxes. He can't put into port anywhere. And he creates this fucking religion. And he's trying to get the religion recognized so that he doesn't have to fucking pay taxes. So eventually, I guess, he gets to the U.S. He hides out in the U.S. to the end of his time. And then the true story of Scientology begins, if you ask me, gentlemen. When a young man named, I think it's David, is it Miscavige? Miscavige. When a young man named David Miscavige takes...
A man with ambition and moxie.
Yes. Takes control. Takes life by the balls. Takes the bull by the horns and says, people, we're going to fuck everybody.
Including ourselves.
Yeah. Whenever the Wolf of Wall Street took over Scientology.
It's not like Scientology was like this great thing in the first place. This Miscavige dude, man. he's a fucked up individual.
When I saw the whole turn in the documentary, when he took over and his whole demeanor, and they talked about how, he had all this fanfare and pomp and circumstance. There's all these fucking fireworks going off on this humongous fucking stage, and there's just him.
Yeah. It looks like the Oscars with him like standing in the middle of the stage the entire time.
Yeah.
That's what I said to Marcia. I said, yeah, it looks like a fucking award show going on there, and it's not. It's a religious thing. It's a church, supposedly.
And the really cool thing about it is it wasn't like L. Ron Hubbard left him as his successor. He just chose to do it.
He took it.
I'm going to be in charge now, people.
It's mine.
Yeah, L. Ron Hubbard died, and he just went, yeah, I did some work with L. Ron Hubbard.
Yeah, I was his camera assistant.
I was around L. Rach. I love how they call him fucking L. Rach.
Yeah.
Like that's some type of, what the fuck is that?
That means you really knew him.
Oh.
That's right.
Oh.
But you know what? Those son of a bitches could sing.
Hey. And that's wonderful. That's great.
I was impressed by their singing capabilities.
You were impressed by their "We Are the World" moment.
Stand Tall, yeah.
The Stand Tall video. That was good. That was some good stuff.
Pretty inspirational.
So Miscavige takes over. He makes it his goal to get, I guess, as many celebrities as he can in the Scientology fold. And according to these people who were high-ranking members of Scientology, right-hand men, I believe there was a woman as well, or a couple of women, to Mr. Miscavige himself, they basically went after everything they could about his private life through the audits that he'd been through in Scientology. Travolta and Tom Cruise.
Right.
In order to get them, fully on board. Now he's got the full weight of a couple of big toting celebrities, hammering down Scientology down everybody's fucking throats. Their numbers are going like fucking crazy. They're just collecting money hand over fist. In order to do anything in Scientology, in order to become clear, ladies and gentlemen, you got to pay.
Every last stinking cent of it.
The fucking Church of Scientology is like fucking Goodfellas. Your store burned down, fuck you, pay me. You want to be clear? Fuck you, pay me.
Just when you think you're out, they pull you back in.
They fucking pull you right back in. And there's
I like the one part of the documentary where it's like they ran out of levels. People couldn't pay anymore, so he just made more.
Well, yeah.
Keep going higher and higher.
Steve, we don't.
I like the part where you get.
I forgot to tell you about this level.
I like where you get to the transcendent levels, and like they give you like that handwritten letter by L. Ron Hubbard, and they're like reading, they're like, "What the fuck is this?
What is this?"
Like, why was this not mentioned earlier?
It's the Bible, Matt. He's a prophet. Didn't you know?
There were famous people that, hung out with bad guys a long time ago. And I'm sure like Charles Manson has rubbed elbows with a few famous people in his time.
Absolutely has.
But like, this is modern times, and like Tom Cruise and John Travolta are still on board with this shit.
Yeah.
That's what blows my mind, is this still exists. This wasn't just like, died out with like the coke-fueled ambitions of the 80s. Like, it's still here. And people are still falling for it.
Now, according to the documentary, though, their numbers at this point are dwindling. Or they're down. They're not what they used to be.
Well, I think they said they have like 50,000 active members or something of that nature.
Yeah. So but the interesting
But
thing
they're worth
is their
$4
money.
billion.
Their money is still going up.
Yeah.
Which it begs the question: is this a non-profit organization? And if you ask me, the answer, in my opinion, is no. It's not a non-profit organization. It's not a church. They strong-armed the IRS to become a church.
Well, some of the IRS were members of the church.
Yeah, it's a big fucking mess. How the government allowed this all to happen is beyond me. And how it is that the IRS is the body, the government body, that decides if something's a religion. My head almost fucking came off my shoulders. I had no idea. Like I figured, like, you know, Supreme Court justices would have to fucking rule, and no,
it's an IRS committee.
Just the IRS.
And it's only because that's how they determine if you pay taxes or not.
Right.
It's the only thing that separates religion from anything else.
You fill out a bunch of paperwork and read a bunch of stuff and pay a bunch of money, and the IRS reviews it. And if you meet all their preset guidelines and everything, then they're like, okay, you're a religion. Congratulations.
It's awesome. The church.
Which is, it's like the same thing as like, okay, you're an animal rescue organization. Congratulations.
Mm-hmm.
Like, churches are literally on the same level as that in the United States.
And that's what's baffling about this. And that's why I think that everyone that can watch this should, at least for the information on how it is that a religion becomes recognized by the United States government. Because it was baffling to me that this is how it happens.
Yeah, I mean, the strong arm. I mean, what was it? They had 2,500 lawsuits or something at.
Yeah, they basically just sued the IRS into submission. They spent so much money on litigation that the IRS finally went, Uncle.
Well, by the time the IRS had to fight all those lawsuits, they were going to be probably backwards in what, Scientology owed them.
Yeah.
So it made sense, I guess, at that point to just say, okay, fuck this. You guys can have your religion. But now the Church of Scientology, and this is what I got out of the documentary, can do all sorts of fucking things. They can hold people captive. They can pay you 30 cents an hour. They can take your children because they're a religion. And that was what really I got out of that. I could care less if they're considered a religion or not. It's what they're doing,
right?
Using that as an excuse so that they can be the fucking
United States government will not step in unless somebody calls and asks for the help.
And like the people said in the documentary, if someone from the government had showed up when they were in that torture hole, that whatever the fuck that place was called. If someone had shown up and said, hey, what's going on here? They all would have turned and said, no, we want to be here.
And they did. That's the funny part. They did want to be there.
Some of them begged to go back because they threatened to take them out and kick them out of the religion. Totally.
And that's the dangers of, and it's not just Scientology, but religion in general, if it's taken to that level.
But I never saw any, badass enforcers or anything. It was all stuff like, we're going to tell your secrets if you don't do what we say, or we're going to write a blog.
I'm sure that there were some type of security type people.
Oh, I'm sure there was, but you just never saw them.
Well, because the documentary isn't getting into the inner workings of Scientology. They're not seeing that part. It's all the stories of these people and what they went through. And a lot of them were some pretty high-ranking people.
And some of these people were the enforcers.
Yeah, that too.
The people who... Right, so...
It was just a very eye-opening for me. I mean, because at its base level, if you look at Scientology at its very basic level, Forget all the bullshit. Forget all the science fiction Xenu crap. It's just a fucking religion of self-betterment, as is pretty much every other religion. However, it's the other shit that is in it that makes it, to me, it makes it this very devious, very cunning, almost evil. Almost evil
It's
to me.
one man's attempt to get out of paying taxes.
Yeah, and that in that it just became something else. And now look at what it's done to all of these people. All of these people who have been, held against their will. Their children have been taken from them. The whole families that got into this, and half of the family got out, the other half is still in. They won't have anything to do with them. You're a suppressive person. I have to disconnect from you.
I get, for me, it's the, I've said it before, and it doesn't just go for Scientology or any of these whacked out religions, but belief is a hard thing to overcome. So once you start believing, and I think that's where all these people were, and that's why they stuck out so fucking long, is because they really believed this shit. And once you really believe something, that's the hardest thing in the fucking world to overcome. I think it's worse than a meth addiction or something,
Whenever it started out, that was at a time where people, for the most part, were very uneducated. Whenever it came to science, nobody really cared about science. There was the whole alien scare going on at the time. All kinds of crazy stuff, and people were easily fooled into believing that this could be real. And then they would stay within the organization and have children and tell their children, this is real, you have to stay here, this is us, this is how things are. And the children would grow up believing that because it's their parents telling them that.
And they were even told to not pay attention to stuff on the internet, to stay away from, documentaries or anything about Scientology. Just,
Well, Miscavige himself grew up in the church. I mean, he was born into Scientology, basically.
Correct.
So obviously he's got that mindset, and he's one fucked up. I mean, I'm gonna say it. He's one fucked up individual because of it.
Say it, Steve.
Yeah.
I got your back, dude.
Well, yeah, but now the Thedans
don't.
are gonna come get me.
True, but still.
You'd throw him under the bus the first fucking second you got.
The first Scientologist that was chasing me down the street, and that
Fucking
there he goes.
The wheels of the bus go boom, boom, over, Steve.
No, I'm just saying that, it's no wonder that he believes the way he does, because he grew up believing all that. And so to him, that is normal.
He's a power hungry motherfucker is what he is.
Right,
And
but
he's a hungry son of a bitch. Hey, I'll give credit where credit's due. He fucking took it, man. He took the reins of basically a multi-million-dollar corporation, because I don't see it as a religion, I see it as a business.
Right, and that's what it is in the end.
And he lives a posh lifestyle, I'll bet.
Oh, I'm guaranteeing it.
Yeah. Dude's doing all right.
Yeah.
And I bet you he gets more than 30 cents an hour.
No, Steve, he's part of the organization. That's all you get.
Oh. Well, that's what he reports on his taxes anyhow.
Yeah. Shh, Steve.
I don't know.
Shh.
I'm quiet now.
Steve's going to become a member of Scientology. I'm going to lose him to Scientology.
No, I do want to know, and the reason I ordered the audiobook is only to try to understand why people, I mean, Dianetics wasn't the religion. It was just what started the religion, basically. So I want to see where this all started and why people believed that any of it could be real. He wrote it basically
because of the little machines, man.
Yeah, you got to clear out your thetans, man.
And the psychology behind it's real simple. It spikes every time you have like an emotional thought.
Right.
So they would ask, like, what were you just thinking about? Well, I was thinking about my ex-girlfriend. Well, think about her again. And it's just desensitizing you to bad emotions, to negative memories. And once you become desensitized to it, by thinking about it over and over, it's lifted off your shoulders and you feel better. And you're like, oh my God, this really works. Or, oh my Zuna, or whoever the fuck it is. So
yeah,
it
but
makes
you don't
feel
know
better
about
about yourself.
or whatever his name is until you reach the third level of afterclear.
Right.
Find out about that.
Everclear. Your third bottle of Everclear.
Everclear gets me clear every time.
I don't know. I like to understand the backgrounds of things, and that's why I want to read it. But maybe I will fall for it all. I don't know. Probably not.
I think you will. Hook, line,
I
and
will.
sinker.
Well, it's not hard to understand why that people can fall for these things. We see it all the time, you know.
Well,
And
it's
and
happened.
Bigfoot and UFO cults and things like that.
Well,
I mean, it
yeah, that
happens.
stuff. But
It
I mean,
can
if
be
you want to go
about
just
anything.
if you want to go just religions, we've seen it in a bunch of different places. We've seen it. We saw it in Waco. We saw it in fucking, not on this scale, but we saw it in Jamestown, Jim Jones. People will fucking follow wackos right to the fucking end, right over the cliff.
And why?
Haley Bop or whatever, the comic.
The Hail Bop
Hail
people, they put on their fucking Nikes and their, black and purple uniforms and put their $1.20.
I mean, that's literally where Drink the Kool-Aid came from.
$1.25 fucking in their pocket so they could catch the bus or whatever the fuck it was, the UFO.
Yeah.
Jesus. I remember, I think I was either off from school that day or I played hooky that day or something. And I saw
You were trying to catch the comment.
Yeah, I was going to catch the comment. I'm like, fuck, I missed it. And I saw the broadcast all over the news. And I was like, how fucking dumb.
Yeah.
Like, we've all got to have Nikes on. Like, that's going to matter.
I'm guessing some of those people were really intelligent people, though. And in Scientology, I'm sure there's a lot of really smart individuals, but they still fall for the bullshit. And that's what I want to try to understand.
Beck makes some really good music. I don't know if he's still a Scientologist or not, but he makes some really good music that I enjoy. I'm not going to stop listening to Beck because he's a Scientologist.
Tom Cruise is fucking crazy.
I'm not going to stop watching The Last Samurai and going, yeah, that's a pretty good fucking movie because Tom Cruise is a Scientologist. I'm just not.
And I don't have a problem with that way people believe. I have a problem with the inner workings of that organization.
And I'm not going to stop watching Look Who's Talking Too.
No, you're supposed to go Pulp Fiction, motherfucker.
Oh, sorry.
I was going to go Michael.
Oh, God. Oh.
I fell asleep. Here's the thing. My ex-wife, and it might be the reason she's my ex-wife, or part of the reason, and it's probably a good thing anyhow, but no, it's not probably a good thing. It's definitely a good thing she's my ex-wife. But we went to watch Michael on our anniversary one year, and I fell asleep. And that was like the beginning of the end for us. I fell asleep at the theater.
Oh, God. That movie was so atrocious. Just so
Maybe that's why.
Horribly bad. Yes.
But he's a Scientologist.
He's an angel.
And he's playing an angel.
That scratches his bag.
Well, here's the thing with Travolta. When he first got into Scientology, and they explained it in the documentary, that's when he got his first acting gig. And then after that, it just seemed that everything fell in place for him. So he took that and associated it with Scientology, which it probably had absolutely nothing to do with Scientology. But it may be because of his acting skills or his looks or whatever, not his acting skills, that's for damn sure. But I'm just saying, that's why people believe this shit, because they take the one thing and associate it with the other thing, and it's probably not necessarily
I gotta be clear,
associated at all.
Steve. The only time anybody respects me is when I'm at the Church of Scientology.
But why they still buy
die from it? I mean,
yeah, and he still buys it. He's still in it, and that's what
I can fly planes.
What they said about Tom Cruise and these people that, you know, they built the limos for him and made a field of grass so he could run through it with his wife. And, you know, I mean, and they paid these people nothing to do it. He's got to know about this shit. He's got to know this happens. But yet...
Probably
but they have all their blackmail material on the guys. And
that's right.
Apparently Travolta and Cruise are still not willing to come
Remember
out
that
of the
massage
closet,
therapist
so.
that you let suck your dick?
Yeah, but so what? If somebody in the Church of Scientology came out today and said Tom Cruise is the biggest homosexual on the face of the planet or whatever, so what? You know?
I'm not saying... I wasn't going...
Hey, I'm not going to pull his toaster off my wall because of it.
Yeah,
No.
that's right. I don't give a shit.
But I mean, what really, does that really hurt Tom Cruise's acting career or his public
whatever
image?
it
No,
is,
'cause he's
I don't
already
think it
fucking
matters at this
crazy.
point. I think he's all in. I don't think he cares. I think he figures it's a one-way ticket. It's a pass. You know, it's a get out of jail free card for him. That's what I think they look at the religion as now, and that's why they don't care.
They use those celebrities as spokespeople for the religion.
Right.
So we don't know what the celebrities are actually getting out of it. I mean, you know, there might be strings connected to people that can open doors for them. They might get paid $1 billion a year just to say they're Scientologists. We don't know. I would like to think it's something sane, fueled by greed instead of actually buying into it, but who knows?
Well, I don't know. It did seem that in the documentary, Travolta's had his ups and downs with the religion and thought at times that maybe, but then he's always stuck with it. And so that one, I just don't get. If you have doubts like that, and then, you know, these people...
When you have like
that,
50-something audit sessions that say that you like massage therapists playing with your pee-pee.
What was that lady's name? Spanky or Corky or something like that, who was Travolta's personal signed assistant.
I think her name was Spanky.
Yeah, when she went into the rehabilitation program, which was basically a fucking prison camp where they were living in filth and squalor and her children was sitting in its own urine, she was good friends with Travolta. Why wouldn't something like that open his fucking eyes, you know? And that's what bothers me about him and people like Tom Cruise who have seen this. They know it goes on. There's no way they don't.
Hey, listen, the Lord tested Job, Steve.
Yeah, the Lord tested Job. Scientology.
Xenu was testing his people.
I don't understand how you can get that deep into a religion that you ignore.
You can't. Whoa. It's happened.
Right.
It's happened forever, for centuries.
I know
people
has,
get so deep in something.
Understand.
It happened with the Inquisition. You know, it happened with the Crusades. It happened.
There's going to be religious fanatics. It's going to happen in every religion.
It's happening.
The problem
it's happening
is
with
the entire
Islamics.
religion is fanatical.
Right, and that's what it is with Scientology. Is the entire religion is fanatical.
Or so it seems.
Well, you kind of have to be to believe that shit.
I understand that, but
you
we have to say,
believe-
or so it seems, because, you know, we don't know. You and I,
No,
we're
we
not
don't
in.
have to
Although
say
in a
that.
couple of weeks you're going to be in, so we might know. Although, I
Well,
wonder
don't know
how long you
the
could
waiting
hold out.
is. We'll see. I don't know. I'm weak will. You know, I don't have a strong will when it comes to, you know, being influenced by things and people. So I think I'm going to become a Mormon, Scientologist, I don't know, Buddhist.
Well, could you be a newsman for a few minutes?
All right, I could try that.
Good. I was fucking
From
sick
the
of talking
great-
about Scientology.
From the great state of Pennsylvania, or as Chris refers to it as the X-Files state.
The X-Files state. Fox Mulder, tell me what's going on.
Alleged UFO sightings are reported in Philadelphia. Ever since E.T. flew across the sky on a bicycle, Aliens and UFOs have become...
That didn't fucking happen.
Yeah, that was in a movie.
I didn't finish reading the sentence.
Oh,
Maybe
oh.
It says something about being... Ever since E.T. flew across the sky on a bicycle, aliens and UFOs have become a staple of American daydreams. Some say they fly around in spaceships looking for humans to kidnap and probe. Others believe they're just satellites or military planes that are mistaken for something alien. Whether you believe
Sometimes
in
it's just a friend that wants to stick
or
something
not.
in your ass.
Yeah. The rest of the world refers to them as stars.
There are some who are convinced of their existence. In fact, they claim to have seen them with their own eyes. Our data experts at Find the Home collected information from the National UFO Reporting Center, an organization dedicated to the collection of dissemination of objective UFO data. By running geospatial analysis, whatever that is,
They use a lot
on
of big
approximately
words.
approximately, and I'm pronouncing it correctly. I can't pronounce simple words correctly, but I can pronounce those big ones now. By running geospatial analysis on approximately 38,000 reports, Find the Home was able to identify which counties in Pennsylvania have the most UFO sightings per 100,000 people. Columbia County has reported the most out-of-this-world objects per capita, with 18 UFO sightings per 100,000 people. It's closely followed by Armstrong, with 17 sightings per 100K. And guess what comes in third, Chris? Erie County, Pennsylvania.
Oh,
With
is
16,
that where you live,
yes,
Steve?
that's where
I mean,
live,
Fox?
Chris. 16.75 per 100,000.
You better fucking call Scully. You get some shit going on.
I got some shit, that's for sure. From Newsweek, following the years of intense maintenance and consolidation, the Large Hadron Collider, or LHC, one of the world's most prominent and powerful particle colliders, has finally restarted. The European Organization for Nuclear Research, or CERN. Wait, that doesn't stand. Wait. CERN. European Organization. That's not the... Never mind. Ars Technica reports that the electronics in close proximity... I went off on a tangent. I apologize. To the area where the particles collide need to be replaced about every 5 years. See, European starts with a E.
What the fuck, Steve? Come on.
But CERN starts with a C.
What are you
so
even
the
talking about? You've
the
lost...
letters don't match up. It should be the EO.
Ladies and gentlemen,
and
the particle accelerator is getting turned back on. That's pretty much the end of the story. Steve can't get through
The
it.
mechanism
I'm sorry that I
involves-
have to step in to finish the story for Steve and explain to you that, yes, the particle accelerator that was made by CERN is going to be turned back on. One of two things will happen. We'll A, either see John Teeter, or B, see the Flash.
Well, or we'll all die, or I'll be actually able to read a real news story and not fuck it up.
In an alternate
think
reality, Steve, you read the news perfectly, and I have nothing to bitch about, and our show fails.
Oh, that would suck.
Yes.
So anyway, so they're starting the CERN thing up again, and they're looking for other dimensions. But I guess they had some technical difficulties last time they tried to start it, but it's all fixed now. It's all good. They put a Band-Aid on it.
By the way, Steve, the reason it's not working for you is because CERN is an acronym for another fucking language.
But it's European. Never mind. That's the word I was looking for. Acronym. From the WashingtonTimes.com, from Villanova, Arkansas. Postponed last year due to the tornado, the 2015 Arkansas Bigfoot Conference will actually be held April 24th and 25th in Villonia. Described as a family-friendly event, the conference will include two aspects. The first will be a Friday night campout in the scary woods of Villonia. That's what it says.
In the scary woods?
The scary woods, it says so, right there in the article, with Bigfoot researchers sharing their techniques. Attendees will sit around a campfire on Friday night, and that's about it, with well-known researchers and hear stories about Bigfoot encounters in Arkansas. Each person is responsible for their own camping gear and food. The location is being kept a secret, with attendees only being in the know, the Log Cabin Democrat reports. During the event, participants will have the opportunity to take part on a hands-on obstacle course through the woods. I have no idea why. I guess that's how you learn to search for tree structures, footprints, hair, and scat samples. You go through an obstacle course. They will learn.
That's how I always do it.
You want me to walk around in the dark woods of Arkansas looking for limb structures? It's not going to happen, man.
They will learn to take, it doesn't say take photos. It actually says they will learn to make photos.
Well, that's how you get a photo of a Bigfoot. You have to make it.
There's this program called Photoshop.
Yes, it actually does say it. They will learn to make photos. So I think what do they call that? A Freudian slip?
They'll be learned to make photos real good.
No, that would.
Well, it is.
It would be a Freudian slip, Steve, if it said they will learn to make pornos.
They'll receive information or instruction about the proper way to use call blast equipment and perform tree knocks to attract a Sasquatch. The second event will be held from 9 a.m. until 6 p.m. on Saturday morning in the City Hall. Four Bigfoot groups will be represented at the conference. Speakers include Michael Mays of the North American Wood Ape Conservancy.
4 Bigfoot groups by Bigfoot groups.
Yes. Our friend D.W. Lee and Big
He's
Jim
our
Whitehead
friend?
of the Mid-American. No, not at all.
So is this like the fucking Special Olympics of Bigfoot conferences?
I guess.
Of the MABRC. J. Robert Swain, who is involved with the Alliance of Independent Bigfoot Researchers and the Arkansas Primate Evidence Society. All 4 groups are active in Arkansas as well as in other states. It's only $10 a person, fellas, if you want to go.
They should have a contest each year for best Bigfoot group acronym.
You know, you got MABRC here, then you have AIBRAPES.
That's apes, man.
APES. Oh yeah, it is.
I got nothing. I was gonna go. I was gonna call mine the pussy. The primate something.
We'll have to figure it out.
The primate something.
There's more to that story. Whatever website it was, and look it up. WashingtonTimes.com. That is the news, fellas.
As always, Steve, riveting, informative, and a clusterfuck.
Horrible. I wanted to sing Ground Control to Major Tom.
Did you?
I don't know why. Yes.
This has been the Fortean Slip, episode 71. I'd like to thank Matt Knapp for stepping up, coming in, watching a lovely documentary.
Playing musical chairs to Bohemian Rhapsody.
What?
I was going to say, that's in the documentary, yes, Steve, but we didn't do that.
Oh, we didn't?
If you like this shit, hit the like button. If you don't, hit the thumbs down button. Leave a comment. As I've said before, it gives Steve a boner and his issue. Come on, people.
It's getting better.
Help him out.